Hey guys, thanks for joining me for another Dissidia Final Fantasy Opera Omnia video. Today we are taking on Queen's Shinryu fight. So, basically bringing Queen for the mission, and then Aerith and Astos, because this fight allows Astos, right? And I think this kind of will exemplify, I think, what players, players that are responding to this RE Shinryu, that they kind of, they're kind of tired of the mundane gameplay. Well, yeah, this is kind of it, right? So, the idea that, yeah, fights can seem kind of stale because I'm choosing to use the same strats every time. Now, once again, you could argue that I'm choosing that, which I am. I definitely could spice things up and try different team comps, but I'm someone that, like, I'm going to make the fight as easy as the game will allow me to make it. So that is my choice, for sure. But you definitely can choose to challenge yourself more. But it's like, yeah, if I can use Astos, I'm going to break my guy out. Even on the mission quest that I posted, I even brought, even though you couldn't use Astos to get the mission, you could still use him as a friend unit, so I did. And I think, I honestly don't know what the devs were thinking with Astos. I think a character like Astos just should not exist. And I think Astos is part of why the game feels even more stale than normal. Because even if I was using, like, Sephiroth or Aranea, like, they're very powerful characters, but you don't necessarily kill, like, there'd be more fights where I'm probably doing maybe more than one force setup. But Astos just literally does, like, double the damage of the best damage dealers in the game. It's just ridiculous. So, I think Astos was poorly designed in that they made him just way too powerful. Like, way, way too powerful. And your boy is definitely going to take advantage of that. So, that's what I'm doing. And that's why Astos was highly recommended to pull. And there were players that, specifically said they were skipping Astos because they didn't want the game to be too easy. And I did agree with that. Like, that is a valid reason not to pull a character, because you want to challenge yourself more, for sure. So, yeah, we're basically going through. We're just going to do normal, like, kind of setup here. Now, I can't ramp up as quickly because I don't have Rosa to combo with. But, Queen is definitely, like, a passable support unit we could use. Or we can use her in that support role kind of in a passable way. But she definitely wouldn't be my first choice, right? Now, if you have her BT and want to use her for damage, that's a little bit better. You can try that. But yeah, like I saw here, like, they were going to smack me up. So I had to make sure I had the Raijin call on. Like, I would have died there. So, even doing this Astos strat, like, there was still, like, I had to plan out my calls and everything like that to make sure that I could live. And so you can see here, I am really heavily trying to beat them to force because I didn't want them to get theirs. And their force condition, I believe, was magic damage. I think it was magic or dark damage you had to deal to them. Something like that, right? But I'm like, let's just not worry about it. So I actually timed this really well, where I got into Astos at 92%. And Aerith does echo well off of Astos' force. So that's kind of like, if I don't have Rosa around, I'll just have Astos do his own, because I know he's going to tick it well. And Rosa will still be able to echo pretty well off of it, right? So we got into force time. They're at 92, so we're pretty good now. Now this here can get kind of scary because they are hitting out some big attacks. Luckily, we still had Raijin there, right? So at this point, though, I'm thinking, oof, Raijin's off. We need some safety. I have to, like, not let them get turns, or I have to make sure, that we have a way to be safe. Because this, even with the strat I'm doing, this fight was not a cakewalk, man. It was difficult. But we're finding ways to get by. Here's the funny thing. We look right there. We have Queen and Ignis both wearing glasses, but for some reason they can't put it on Jill's character model, and they can't put it on Quistis for people who bought the costume, which is kind of mind-boggling to me. Like, they clearly show they know how to put glasses on a 3D model character, but for some reason those two characters just got shafted with glasses. So, my recommendation to the devs is, let's bring the glasses back. Give it to all the characters that deserve glasses, right? Alright, so we are doing our echo thing, and you can see 120 is a really nice echo. We'll take 120 echoes all day, for sure. And you can see these bosses, I would say, are not the tankiest bosses either, kind of like the mission quest. The mission quest ones, I would say, were probably a bit squishier, but this is fine. We can get through here just fine. I'm popping off Rydia now for safety. Now, there are Omega Ballet Plus or whatever. It might not be dodgeable. I didn't know, but I just put put Rydia on just in case. But I think we timed it in a way where we're not going to have to worry about them attacking us again. I just wanted some extra safety. And then using the Rydia call did take us a little bit of HP. It did burn a turn, but it was a combination of I mainly wanted to get the safety of it. I wasn't really doing it for force efficiency, for sure. But I'm like, yeah. And I had the option to put, like, launching on, but I'm like, you know what? Let's just dive in here, right? Like, let's just get it going. Actually, I might have actually put launching on. Because right there, we still had to get the BT effect up, right? So we got the BT effect up now. So I do have to give him a turn. But luckily, we got the miss there because we had the Rydia call. And we get the Rydia call here. So the Rydia call did come in clutch there. And then my thought here is I just have to break them behind Astos. We could go Astos VT phase, and then we should be good. And I've got Echo here, so we're not really burning turns out. Aerith will have to burn a turn for sure. The nice thing with Aerith, kind of the tech I've picked up with Aerith that's really nice, is if you just kind of need her to pass turn, using Prayer of the Cetra is a pretty good button to press, provided her high turn rate doesn't bump her up, because you're getting, like, it's like a force charging move, but it still passes turn, right? So Prayer of the Cetra here, I tap on it to make sure I don't jump turns. Then I'm like, yeah, let's do it, and we're going to get a good gain and pass the turn, right? 93% while passing turn. That's very good. So Prayer of the Cetra does have some nice tech that I've kind of grown to use the more that I've used Aerith. The thing is, in this game, like, you really have to use characters a lot to really figure out how to optimize them, right? Okay, but Aerith is obviously a character I'm using, like, all the time, so I've definitely, like, figured her out. Alright, so now we're hopping in at 700%. I think Astos has this in the bag, probably with overkill, because, yeah, they're already at 60%, so I'm like, oh, yeah, this fight's going to be over very quickly. Yeah, Big Daddy damage there, 46 mil AoE, we'll take it. I'm like, yeah, because the turn count was so low, I'm like, let's not mess with putting the Reigns call on. I'm like, let's just get in. So we got to get this done. Get this done. And yeah, these guys are like toast. Like mega toast. So that's Astos, right? That's the character they gave us. We're not cheating. Like, this is legit how they want the character to function. So sure, you want to give us like a really, like, this would be the equivalent. Like, I'm going to maybe go like Dokkan terms, but like Astos would be the equivalent of like a character who just routinely put up 40 mil attack stats, right? Like, just their normal attacks were 40 mils. They could pop off additionals at 40 mil. Could you imagine if Dokkan released a character like that? And this Astos is just so far ahead of everyone's damage. It is just ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. So do I like using him to beat stages easily? Yes. Is he healthy for the game? No. He is not healthy for the game. Like, honestly, 500 mil burst phase, by the way. If I had the option, I actually wish they never released Astos, or they released him with less damage, because he is kind of like making the game stale, which is what people are complaining about, right? So anyways, you can let me know what you think about Astos. Let me know. Once again, I don't mind, like, I'll ride my strong characters to get easy wins. I'll do that all day. But there you go. There's the Shinryu done. We got Queen in the party. We kind of soft carried her a little bit. Let me know how you handled this fight. Let me know your thoughts on the game. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you all on the next one.